friends, welcome back to my channel. So today we're sitting down and we are doing another collections video. You guys seem to really enjoy my eyeshadow palette collections video. I figured I would sit down and maybe do another one and see how this one does, and then if you like this one as well, I can keep going. Today, as you saw, I'm sure from the title and the thumbnail, we are going to be doing my blushes. Every blush I own, which I own a lot of blushes, you guys, I'm not gonna lie, but it's one of my favorite makeup categories ever. So before we get started, don't forget to upload every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday for you guys. If you like this video while you're watching it, please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. It really does help my channel out. And not only that, if you're excited and you want to see my blush collection, every blush I own, then let's go ahead and get started. If you did miss that eyeshadow palette collection video, I will have it linked up in the eye and down below for you in case you missed it. Actually, the eye is on this side, Emily. I'll have it linked in the eye and down below for you in case you missed it and you want to check it out. Basically, it's just every eyeshadow palette I own, and I'm doing the same thing for blush. I'm going to, again, do alphabetical order. Same disclaimer as the eyeshadow palette collection video. This is not meant to be braggy at all. It's not meant to be like, look how many blushes I own, and I own more than you. That is not my intention at all. It's just a fun video to show you what I own in my collection. I've actually had people ask me to do collection videos in the past, and I just never thought it'd be either one, entertaining, or two, I thought it would be braggy, and I don't know, you guys seem to enjoy it. So like I said, I'm going in alphabetical order, and the first one right here is from Alamar Cosmetics. This is their Colorette Blush Trio. I actually have the shade medium to tan, so it comes with 3 blushes. We have Seclusion, Isla, and Toasted. It doesn't look like I've used this blush a lot, but honestly, I have. I really, really love these blushes. I want to say Alamar Cosmetics has redone the packaging. I thought they were going away for a while, but I don't think that they got rid of them. I think they just kind of reformulated and repackaged. So I'm assuming that the new ones are just as good as these ones, but they are buildable and pigmented on the cheeks and just look lovely. Then we have AOA Studio. I kind of realized after I did my eyeshadow palette collection video, I put them in the S category for Shop Miss A, but then the brand is called AOA Studio. So I went ahead and just put them in the A category for this one. I don't think it really matters, but we have 2 from AOA Studio. Again, this is the Shop Miss A brand. These blushes are like $1 or $1.50. They are super affordable. This one right here is in the shade Mod. Yeah, MOD Mod. And it's just a really beautiful, just cool tone, pinky mauve sort of shade. It's really beautiful on the cheeks. And then we have this one right here called Frenzy. This one is super bright and bold, and it looks really intimidating in the pan, but it's actually really stunning on the cheeks. It's a really bright watermelon-y sort of blush, and if this color doesn't scare you, it is actually a really beautiful blush. And these are really good for the price. They're, like I said, only $1 or something like that, and they are pigmented and last a really long time on the cheeks. Not the best packaging, obviously, because they're so affordable, but I really like these. Then we have quite a few from Bare Minerals. The first one is a little mini that I actually ended up getting with Sephora points a long time ago. This is their Gen Nude blush in the shade Call My Blush. I was not really anticipating liking this very much just because I got it as a point perk and it's a mini, but this is a really beautiful blush. I like this shade a lot, and for it being free with points, it's a really decent size. Like, this will take me forever to go through. I like this one a lot, but honestly, where Bare Minerals shines in their blushes, in my personal opinion, are their bronzers. I have all 3 of them. You guys, these blushes are stunning. My favorite is this first one right here called Kiss of Pink. Oh my goodness gracious. This blush, it's hard to open. This blush is just one of the most beautiful pink blushes. All 3 of them have a little bit of sheen and glow to them, but it just looks really healthy on your cheeks. This blush shade, the Kiss of Pink, goes with absolutely every makeup look you could ever pair it with. Then we also have this one right here called Kiss of Rose. Again, a really beautiful rosy sort of shade. This one and the next one actually seems to have a little bit more sheen than the Kiss of Pink. It looks maybe a little intimidating in the pan because it's a little deep, but it actually goes on the cheeks like stunningly. And then the last one we have right here is called Kiss of Copper. Again, just a really nice coppery sort of warm tone orangey blush that is going to be absolutely perfect for the upcoming fall months. I cannot recommend these bronzers enough. I think they are absolutely stunning. And again, my favorite shade is that Kiss of Pink. Alrighty, next up we have Buxom. This is their Wanderlust Primer Infused Blush in the shade Seychelles. This is a really just beautiful everyday blush tone. It will go with any makeup look you want to pair it with. It's a more nudie sort of blush, and because it's primer infused, it lasts pretty much all day long. It's not going to budge on your cheeks. I wouldn't pay full price for this though, because they go on sale a lot during the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty, so I would definitely snag it for on sale if possible. That's what I did with this one, but I didn't think I was gonna reach for it as much as I do. I love this blush. Next up, we have this one from Catrice. This is their Cheek Lover Oil Infused Blush, and it's in the shade Blooming Hibiscus. I'm not gonna lie, I don't like this blush at all. If you can see, it is so reflective and shiny, and it looks like that on your cheeks. Like truly, it is one of the most shiny blushes I've ever tried, and not like shiny in a good way. Like the bronzers have a little bit of sheen and glow to them, but this is like too much. It's almost like pink highlightery, and that gold flip it has in it is very, very strong on your cheeks. Some people might like that, and it could also just be my skin tone because I'm super fair, but I actually don't love this blush, sadly, and it's probably gonna get decluttered in the future. And I do have one here from Charlotte Tilbury. This is her Cheek to Chic blushes, and this is in the shade Walk of No Shame. One of my friends had sent this to me. I actually bought it off her because she wasn't using it very much. Honestly, it looks really deep and intimidating in the pan, and it is. You definitely have to go in very, very light-handed, but it's a really pretty berry shade on the cheeks. I really want to pick up another shade in this because this Walk of Shame shade is pretty deep and dark on me, and I do have to be careful or I can get like real clown cheeks and just too dark. So I'd like to pick up another shade in this, like a lighter one, but this one is really, really pretty. Then we have one here from Cloven Hollow. This is their Hydra Tint blush in the shade Blossom. I'm pretty sure they discontinued these, unfortunately, because it is a really pretty blush formulation and shade. I really don't use this very often, but it is a really pretty blush. Kind of in the same vein, we have these right here from Clover by Cloven Hollow. This is kind of like a sister brand they launched. They're Pressed Silk Blush Balm. So we have the shades Heartthrob and Juiced. Again, I don't really reach for these very often. They are super emollient on the cheeks. So if you like that sort of blush that's like dewy and emollient, then you would probably enjoy these. I don't love that sort of cream blush formulation. I like more of like a set down, but these shades are really pretty. I should reach for them more and then maybe just set them with powder. But yeah, I haven't reached for them too much, sadly. Then I have two from ColourPop. The first one right here, this is their pressed powder blush in the shade Swirled. This was sent to me in PR, and I actually use this way more than I thought I was going to. In the pan, it may look a little dark, but if you go light-handed, this is beautiful on the cheeks. And this formulation is actually really good from ColourPop. I also have another one of their pressed blushes. This is in the shade Night Bloom though. This one I think is unfortunately discontinued, and this one is super scary in the pan. Like when you look at that, you're like, whoa girl, that is bright, almost neon-y purple, and it doesn't really look like that on the cheeks. It is a really stunning cool tone purpley blush, but that's exactly what I wanted when I purchased this, to go with my cool tone purpley eye looks, and it's absolutely perfect for that. I always reach for this blush whenever I use those type of eyeshadows, so stunning. Then we have three here from Cover FX. These are their monochromatic blush duos that were all the rage a couple years ago. They're definitely not as popular as they used to be. This one is in the shade Soft Peach. I like these because they have a matte side and a shimmer side, so you can really customize like what blush you want to do. I have this one called Pink Dahlia. If you want to go ahead and just use the matte side, you can, or you can just use the shimmer side. And lastly, I have Mojave Mauve, or what I like to do is I like to mix them together and just make a really pretty glowy but not too glowy sort of blush. These are really, really pigmented, so you definitely have to be careful to not go overboard, but these were like a cult classic favorite a couple years ago for a reason. I need to reach for these more. They're really pretty blushes. Next up is e.l.f., the first one being their Putty Blush, and this is in the shade Bora Bora. It's like a really pretty bright pink sort of blush shade. I've only used this once or twice. I do like it. Honestly, I prefer a powdered blush over a cream blush. However, this one is really pretty, and it is a really just bright, beautiful, summery sort of shade. I also have two of their primer infused blushes, this one being Always Cheeky. As you can see, I have quite a large pan in this blush. I've had this for many, many years. I was trying to finish it in a project pan a couple years ago. Obviously didn't quite finish it up. These pans are deep, but I love this shade. It's just a really pretty peachy pink sort of shade. And then I also have Always Hazy. This is more of like a bronzy sort of tone. Again, really, really perfect for the upcoming fall and winter months. It looks a little dark in the pan, but on the cheeks, oh, it's beautiful. Then I have 6 from M Cosmetics. Yes, 5 of them are these ones right here, which is their Heaven's Glow blush, and this one is in the shade Faded Clementine. This is such a beautiful, just like orangey tone sort of blush. Then this one right here is Venetian Rose. Again, perfect for more rosy tone looks. These have a little bit of sheen to them, but it's not too intense on your cheeks. Then we have this one called Magic Hour. The shine in these just kind of give your cheeks like health and glow and just make you look really alive. And then the two more newer ones that she launched, this one is in the shade Baroque. This was in their more like neutral tone collection that launched. I didn't love the eyeshadow palette that came with it, but I actually do like this blush. And then this one right here called Rococo is just a little bit more deep toned. Also stunning. One I don't love from them though is this one right here. This is their stick blush. This is their So Soft blush in the shade Lychee or Lychee. I don't know. I just feel like this fades on me really quickly and gets a little patchy. Just not a favorite, but again, I prefer powder, so like that makes sense. It's a pretty tone, it's a pretty shade, a little bit too like peachy for my personal preference, but it is pretty. And then I have 4 from Essence. If you can't tell, once I find a blush formulation that I like, I tend to buy multiples of it because I like it and it like works well for me, so then I want like every shade possible. So the first one being, this is just their The Blush. These blushes, you guys, are like $1.99, maybe $2.99 at this point. And they are so stinking good in general, but especially for the price. This first one being the shade Befitting. Oof, I use this one all the time. As you can see, the embossing and imprint on it is pretty much gone. We also have the shade Believing. It's a little bit deeper of a tone, but still just stunning nonetheless. This will be perfect for fall and winter as well. We have this one right here called Bespoke. This is actually really similar to the e.l.f. one in Always Hazy. Just a really nice bronzy tone sort of blush. I've only used this one a couple times, but I'm definitely going to get more use out of it coming up. And then lastly, we have Beloved, another one that's really well used and the imprint on it is almost gone. Again, these are like so affordable. I highly recommend if you have not tried them. They're amazing blushes. Sticking with the affordable, amazing drugstore blushes, kind of like Essence. Next up we have from Flower. These are their blush bombs. This one is in the shade Melon, and then we also have Cinnamon. This is a beautiful cream, just liquid sort of blush formulation in general, but especially at the drugstore. They're pigmented, but not too pigmented. They last all day long. They do not fade. They do not budge. They do get slightly patchy if you put them over a set face. If you set your face down with powder and then try to apply them, you have to be really careful. They can get a little bit patchy, but other than that, 10 out of 10. I love these. Then we have this one right here from Grande Cosmetics, their Grande Pop Plumping Liquid Blush in the shade Sweet Peach. So these come on a doe foot applicator and they are plumping like they say. They give your cheeks a really cooling, minty sort of feel, which honestly sounds very weird, but it's quite the experience. I don't mind it. I don't hate it. I don't think it makes my cheeks look more plump and full and like luscious, but I think the shade is pretty and I like the formulation and they smell good. I actually don't know if these are available anymore. Grande Cosmetics might be like discontinuing them. If you see them anywhere, I enjoy it and I recommend. Then I have 3 from Half Cake Beauty. This is their candy paints. Actually, I only purchased one of these and then 2 others were sent to me because they had made a mistake in my order and they just sent me some free product kind of just to say sorry, which I thought was really, really sweet of them. So the one that I was trying to pick up is this one in Yacht Week. It's just a really nice neutrally sort of blush tone. I love this. I think it goes with like any sort of makeup look that you would want to pair it with. But they had accidentally sent me Disco Lemonade, which when I first opened it up, I was like, what the heck? I'm never going to use this sort of blush. And then I kind of fell in love with bright pink blushes this past summer. And I've actually used this quite a few times and it's a really beautiful blush shade. And then we also have Angel here, which is another just really pretty pinky neutrally toned blush. I will say these are super emollient. If you can tell even from the pan right there from swatching it and using it, they're very, very dewy and very emollient. I like to set these down with powder. So I put these on first and then set them down with powder. That's how I found that I like it. But again, if you like a super dewy emollient cheek, these are really, really good and super affordable. I want to say they're like $8. Next up, I have one from Honest Beauty. This is their cream cheek blush in the shade Coral Peach. I picked this up because Tati, I'm sure a lot of us picked these blushes up from Tati a couple years ago. She just was raving about these Honest cream blushes. It's a really nice formulation, but it's not my favorite. It's actually a little bit thicker on the cheeks. I don't even know how to explain it. Just more emollient and more dewy. I like a more thinner sort of formulation with the cream blush, and this one is a little bit thicker. However, it's really pretty. It goes on nicely and blends in. I like it, just not a favorite. Moving on for more affordable sort of blushes, we have the Bougie Hourglass. So this is their ambient lighting blushes. I have the shade Mood Exposure. These are pretty pricey, I'm not gonna lie. However, I love this Mood Exposure shade. It is one of my favorite blushes ever. It's a really nice, cool tone, just berry sort of shade on the cheeks. It's stunning. And then we also have this one right here called Diffused Heat. This one's a little bit brighter, which I actually like. I enjoy that. These just look so ethereal and just beautiful on your cheeks. I really have yet to find a blush that looks this ethereal on my cheeks, but they are really pricey. So it's kind of your decision if you want to spend that much money on a blush. I personally think they're worth it though. They're stunning. Then we have this one right here from Jaclyn Cosmetics. This is their cream to powder blush stick in the shade Impress. I actually really like the formulation of this. It's just a really, really bright pink shade, so I don't reach for it on the daily basis because it is so bright. And these are pretty pigmented. They can build up very quickly, so you kind of have to be careful. But that cream to powder is 100% correct. It really does dry down to a powder finish, which I like because then you don't have to set it down. Then we have these two from Kaja. Honestly, I've never used these, and I know that's so bad to say. They were sent to me in PR, and I just haven't used them quite yet. These are their Chinky Stamp. The first one is in the shade Bossy. It's a really pretty orange tone sort of shade. And what's cute about these is they're like a little stamp. So you can like press that in there and then stamp it on your cheek. I don't think I would ever actually use a stamp. I would probably just use it with a brush, but that's like cute, I guess. And then we also have this one right here called Saucy. Again, these are like really pretty shades and tones. I just haven't quite reached for them yet. So maybe I need to do that in an upcoming video because they're really pretty tones. Then we have this one right here from Lancome. This is their Blush Subtil in the shade Sheer Amorose. This blush is one of my favorites ever. It came with a brush, but I got rid of it a long time ago because I just never used them. This shade is just the most perfect, beautiful, everyday pink tone shade. I hadn't reached for it in quite a while, and I rediscovered it a couple weeks ago, and now I've been using it pretty much nonstop. I'm not sure if this shade is still available, but I still think they make these blush subtils. They're pricey, I'm not gonna lie. They're probably, don't quote me, I got this sent to me in PR a long time ago. I wanna say they're like $38, which is a lot of money, but I'm in love with this blush. Then I have a couple of powder blushes from MAC. This first one being in the shade Stay Pretty. I actually don't think they make this shade anymore. However, it's just a pretty, I don't want to say basic, but a basic, just bright pink sort of shade. It's pretty, but it's just very, very old. I probably should declare this, but I just don't want to. I really like it. And then we also have the shade right here called Peaches. This is just an everyday peachy orange sort of blush. I do know that MAC blushes are going to be on sale soon for the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty, so I definitely recommend snagging these powder ones. I also have a Glow Play blush from them too. This is in the shade So Natural. These are like a putty sort of formula, and they give you a really sheen on your cheeks, but in like a pretty way, not like a glittery sort of way, just in like a putty way. I don't know. It's very interesting. It's one of the most unique formulations I think I have in my collection, but these are also going to be on sale, so I recommend checking them out. I have this one right here from Miko Beauty, I believe. I got this sent to me in PR through Ipsy. This is their Blush On Cheek Stick in the shade Bronze. Well, that's kind of weird. Why would it not be a bronzer? Anyways, I've never tried this. I know. I kept it in the hopes that I would try it, and I just haven't yet, so I don't have a whole lot to say about it. But it's a pretty shade. Then we have the Natasha Denona Puff Paint. I don't remember what shade this is in, because it's not on here. I don't know why I shouldn't do that. I want to say natural. I don't know. Anyways, I don't like this. I like a lot of things from Natasha Denona, but not this. It is just very not pigmented at all. I don't know the word for not pigmented. Not unpigmented. Sheer, I guess. I don't know. It just doesn't really show up on the cheeks really well at all. It could just be the shade because it is the lightest one, but I don't really like anything about it. The tone, the shade, the formulation, definitely kind of regret picking this one up. Then we have this one right here from Nude Sticks. This is their all over face color in the shade Bareback. This is a stunning blush. I love everything about this. I love the formulation because you can put it over a set face without it getting like patchy or tacky or anything like that. And this Bareback shade is just the most beautiful, neutrally everyday tone shade. Like, it just goes with everything. I love it. Next up, we have the NYX Sweet Cheeks in the shade Almost Famous. This is a really bright orange sort of shade. It comes on a doe foot applicator. I have not really worn this shade very often because of how bright and bold it is. However, the couple of times I've worn it, it is pretty. I should try it, and I know a lot of people love this formulation, so maybe I should buy another shade, but I just need to suck it up and try this one out because I remember liking it. And then we have this one right here from Odin's Eye. This is their Sunlight Love Blusher in the shade Sunset Clouds. The packaging is just to die for, absolutely stunning. And then the embossing was kept in the inside. It's kind of almost gone because I've used it so many times. Like, this is one of my favorite blushes. I love the tone, I love the formulation. The shade is just a really pretty mauvey pink blush. Oof, so good. If you're making an Odin's Eye order anytime soon, I recommend checking out these blushes, or at least this shade. Remember how I said earlier that if I like a blush formulation, I buy it in a bunch of different colors? That's gonna definitely be evident in this next brand. We got Pat McGrath. I love her blushes so much, and I have a lot of them. The first one being her Celestial Odyssey Divine Blush Glow Trio. This does have a highlight in it, but it has 2 blushes as well. This is in Divine Rose, and this is in Desert Orchid. I love both these blushes so much. As you can tell, the embossing is pretty much almost gone. And then these are the same blushes, just in single compacts. Her Skin Fetish Divine Blush. This is in the shade Nymphette. I actually don't reach for this one too often. Well, I guess I kind of do. I guess the embossing is kind of almost gone. But anyways, it's just a really pretty pink tone blush that has a gold sort of shift. Not my favorite shift, but it is pretty. Then we have this one right here in the shade Cherish. Really bright pink sort of blush tone. I love this one. You kind of have to be careful. It can build up very quickly. But this like bright pink blush is just very flattering, especially on fair skin. I think it'd be flattering on pretty much any skin tone, but especially my fair skin tone. Then we have this super bright one called Electric Bloom. This looks terrifying when you're looking at it in the pan. Stunning on the cheeks. As long as you go light-handed and you don't go overboard, this is the most beautiful, poppy, punchy, summery, bright, orangey, pinky blush. Oh, I love this. I love this blush. And then last but not least, we have my favorite, which is Flirtatious. You can probably tell from the embossing in the pan that this is my favorite. This is just the perfect everyday neutral blush tone. And I feel like I've said that about a bunch of blushes here today, but this is like the most perfect. Then we have Patrick Ta. These are his monochromatic blush duos. Oh wait, no, this is his monochromatic blush. I'm so sorry. This is just his powder blush in the shade She's Passionate. I actually forgot I owned this. I'm not gonna lie. This was sent to me in PR. Actually, all of these but one were sent to me in PR. All these Patrick Ta blushes. This is a really pretty blush. I'm not gonna lie, but I've only used it like twice. I prefer his blush duos, which is what I'm about to show you, but these came out first, and I mean, they're pretty. I do like this blush, but I feel like where he shines is in his blush duos. So this one is in the shade She's Blushing. So you have a cream on top and a powder on bottom. These blushes are just stunning. You can use the cream, the powder, both of them together, the cream first, then the powder, powder, then cream. It's pretty much, your options are endless. And then we also have She's That Girl, which is a really bright pink sort of blush. Just this on the cheeks is just stunning. I will say they're pretty pigmented. You have to be careful. And then last we have She's So LA, which is a really pretty bronzy sort of tone. Again, like I said, they're pretty pigmented. You have to be careful without going overboard and looking like clown cheeks. But if you are careful, stunning. And last but not least, we have this little mini blush from Rare Beauty. I almost didn't include it, but I mean, it's in my blush collection. This is in the shade Grace. I used to have a full-size Rare Beauty blush, but I decluttered it. It was in one of the like the bright red sort of tones. These are just super pigmented and honestly kind of hard to work with. They're not my favorite blush formulation, hence why I decluttered my full size and only have this mini, and I actually don't really use this mini. I got it with points from Sephora. So if you like the Rare Beauty blushes, I'm so glad, but for me, I just cannot get them to work out, sadly. And that was it, you guys. That was my blush collection. Every single solitary blush that I own. I'm sorry if the lighting in this wasn't the best. It started out sunny, and then the sun has just kind of gone behind clouds, and it looks like it might rain here coming up. So anyways, again, not meant to be braggy. This is just all the blushes that I own because I love blush. It's one of my favorite parts of my makeup. I love picking out the blush to go with my makeup. It's just like the best part of my makeup application, if I'm being honest. It's one of my favorites. But anyways, let me know down below, do you own any of these blushes? I would love to hear your thoughts on them as well. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. You're awesome and I love you. Please subscribe if you have not yet, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye guys.